Some people wake up calm. Gemini natives wake up mid-chaos, already running 3 different personalities in the background. These individuals operate less like people and more like browsers with 47 tabs open, 10 playing audio, none related. Strangers see someone charming and funny. The group chat sees someone starting 4 conversations, finishing none, and still dominating the entire thread. Anyone who has been love-bombed, ghosted, and then sent a meme by the same person in 1 week already knows this energy. This video will break down how Gemini people text, date, ghost, work, and somehow remain everyone's favorite recurring problem. In other words, it is a full survival guide for living with the zodiac's designated agents of controlled chaos. Once the dust settles, the name attached to this behavior finally appears on screen: Gemini. If chaos had a social media manager and a caffeine addiction, it would look exactly like these natives. Gemini belongs to the air signs, which already sounds like a warning label. Air signs think fast, talk faster, and commit to nothing except the bit they are currently performing. Gemini takes this energy and runs it through a personality randomizer every 6 hours. These people do not have moods, they have software updates. 1 minute, a Gemini individual is deep in existential philosophy. The next, they are sending memes about rats in tiny hats. There is no through line. The through line is that there is no through line. Gemini natives treat consistency like a myth invented by boring people. They show up to plans excited, leave halfway through because they remembered a different plan, then text 3 days later like nothing happened. The confidence is unmatched. The follow-through is a crime scene. These individuals collect hobbies like Pokemon cards, then abandon them the second the dopamine fades. Last month, a Gemini person was learning Italian. This month, they cannot remember why they bought that textbook. The shelf of half-finished projects in their room could start its own museum. Gemini people are the reason read receipts cause anxiety. They see the message, they think about the message, they open 17 other apps, they forget the message exists. 4 hours later, they reply with an essay that somehow answers nothing. These natives text like they are managing a customer service line for 5 different realities. Someone asks a simple question. The Gemini individual responds with 3 tangents, 2 memes, and a voice note that starts mid-thought. By the time anyone decodes the message, the Gemini has already moved to a completely different topic. Group chats fear them? Group chats also need them? Without Gemini energy, the chat dies. With Gemini energy, the chat becomes a choose-your-own-adventure novel with no ending. They send chaos. They send clarity. They send screenshots of something unhinged they saw on Twitter. Nobody knows what is coming next. Gemini natives ghost people like it is a competitive sport. They do not mean harm. They genuinely forget other humans require consistent communication to feel valued. A Gemini person can have the best conversation of someone's life, then vanish for 3 weeks because they got distracted by a documentary about bees. Double texting a Gemini is not desperate. It is a necessary follow-up because their brain filed the first text under maybe later and then lost the folder. They swear they were about to respond. The timestamp says otherwise. These people do not play hard to get, they play hard to predict. Dating a Gemini individual feels like matching with someone who has 4 different dating profiles, and all of them are real. One date, they are intellectual and deep. The next, they are making terrible puns and laughing at their own jokes for 6 minutes straight. Gemini natives fall in love with potential, not people. They meet someone interesting and immediately start writing a whole future based on 2 good conversations. Then reality shows up, and the Gemini individual remembers they hate routine more than they love romance. Commitment is not impossible for these people. It just requires someone who understands that Gemini will never stop being 5 different moods in a trench coat. They need a partner who can keep up, laugh at the chaos, and not take it personally when the Gemini disappears into a Wikipedia hole for 3 hours. Gemini people are fun until they are bored. Then they are gone. Not because they are cruel, because their brain treats boredom like a physical threat. The second the spark fades, these natives are already swiping, scrolling, or texting someone new. The wildest part is that people keep going back. Because when Gemini energy is locked in, these individuals are the most fun, fascinating, hilarious humans in the room. They just cannot stay locked in for more than 48 hours without a system reboot. Gemini natives approach work the way they approach everything else, with enthusiasm that lasts exactly until the next shiny thing appears. They start projects with the energy of someone about to change the world. They abandon projects with the energy of someone who just remembered they have a different world to change. Deadlines mean nothing. Timelines are suggestions, calendars are decorative. These people excel in jobs that reward quick thinking and punish repetition. Put a Gemini individual in a role that requires doing the same task every day, and they will either automate it or quit. They need variety. They need stimulation. They need at least 3 side projects running simultaneously, or they start making poor decisions. Gemini natives are terrible at saving money because they treat spending like performance art. They buy things they do not need because the idea seemed fun in the moment. A Gemini person can budget perfectly for 2 weeks, then blow the entire plan on concert tickets for a band they barely listen to. Career-wise, these individuals thrive in chaos. Journalism, marketing, anything that requires talking fast and pivoting faster, Gemini natives were built for that life. They can sell anything, explain anything, and charm anyone. They just cannot promise they will still care about it next month. The astrology here is almost too easy. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, speed, and mental acrobatics. Mercury moves fast. It does not linger, it does not commit, it processes, then moves on. Gemini is a mutable sign, which translates to adaptable in theory, unreliable in practice. Mutable energy flows, it shifts, it refuses to stay in one shape for too long. Combine that with air element energy, and the result is someone whose thoughts move faster than their ability to finish them. This is why Gemini natives cannot sit still. Their ruling planet is literally sprinting through the zodiac at top speed, and their brain is trying to keep up. The chaos is not a bug, the chaos is the entire operating system. Mercury also rules duality, which explains why Gemini people contain multitudes. They are not fake, they are genuinely all of those people at once. The problem is that nobody else can predict which version will show up on any given day. Here is the thing people forget. Life without Gemini energy is boring as hell. These natives are the reason group chats stay alive. They are the reason parties do not die at 10 p.m. They are the reason anyone laughs during stressful work meetings. Gemini individuals are entertainment in human form. They might ghost, but they also send the funniest texts anyone has ever received. They might flake, but they also show up with energy that makes everyone else feel more alive. The unpredictability is annoying until it is the only thing keeping a situation interesting. Gemini people are smart. Not book smart, though many of them are that too. Street smart, socially smart. They read rooms faster than anyone else and adjust instantly. They know what to say, when to say it, and how to make it land. That skill is rare, that skill is valuable, that skill makes them impossible to replace. These natives are adaptable in ways most people cannot fathom. Throw them into a new city, a new job, a new social circle, and they will not just survive, they will thrive. Gemini individuals do not fear change, they get bored without it. The world needs people who can think fast, pivot faster, and make everyone laugh while doing it. Gemini energy is chaotic, yes, but it is also brilliant, hilarious, and more capable than it gets credit for. These people are not a mess. They are a necessary form of entropy in a universe that takes itself too seriously. Anyone living with Gemini placements is essentially running a personality app that updates every 12 hours. Short bursts of focus, long stretches of distraction, and zero regrets about any of it. These individuals are not broken. Their charts are just wired for speed, variety, and the kind of mental flexibility that makes everyone else dizzy. The rest of the zodiac can stay mad. Gemini natives will be busy starting 3 new projects and finishing none of them.